Hey, today is day 31 of the Race to 100. When I first met Max, he was a freshman who had walked into a first priority meeting, came in invited by a friend. In that meeting, he had his hair down over his face, never looked anyone in the eye, but he did listen as the gospel was presented. He came under conviction that the commitment he had made to Christ many years ago was not being lived up to, and he rededicated his life right then and there. Within the next couple of months, he was asked to share his testimony. He thought out, had written down, and had a great testimony, but he stood up in front of the group and shared it without ever looking up from the piece of paper. Afterwards, I pulled him aside and I encouraged him on what a great story and what a great testimony that he had. But I also encouraged him to look up from the paper, look people in the eye, because we want to see on his face what the gospel meant to him. Within a few months, school was ending, and Max was asked to share the gospel at the very last meeting of First Priority that year. He came in, had a very well written out, thought out presentation of the gospel, and handed it to me and asked me to look over it. I did, read through it. It was fantastic. But I handed it back to him and said, hey, all of that information you have on the page is perfectly correct and it's great, but I want to hear what it means to you. How does this impact your life? He thought about it for a few minutes, got up, shared his story, and looking people in the eye, shared what it meant to him. 2 people made commitments to Christ that day. Max is not only now a leader in First Priority, he's a leader in his church and in his youth group. He's cut his hair, he is looking people in the eye, and the last time I talked to him, he put me under conviction because he was talking about 5 or 6 students that he was intentionally building relationships with in order to share the gospel. Max is just an example of what it happens when you challenge a student with the campus as a mission field and challenge him or her to reach that campus with the gospel. Together we can do that, and First Priority is actively doing that on 16 campuses right now. Will you help us do that on those 16 and help us go further? You can do so by joining the Race to 100. Be one of 100 people to commit $25 or more a month and invest that for at least 1 year to empower students like Max to reach their potential and become missionaries to one of the greatest mission fields on the earth. That's the public schools in the United States of America.